that. Anyways, as I was saying, we are all good. We are all good. Just had to refresh on my end a little bit there. But as I was saying, when it comes down to, I think, this last-minute compositional change for Blue Water, kind of curious to see if that ISO is going to be something we're going to continue to see to be that Starbound counter as this series unfolds. But kicking things off with this pistol round, Starbound with the first pick overall. That plant should be able to go down here for Blue Otter. It's been a lot of early pressure already from Wada, though. They're just trying to wrap back around over towards A main and find that timing for the pinch.
Yeah, this is all about who scouts this out, if anybody, from Blue Otter. They're setting up their post plant over towards Link side. Juna going to toss the Paranoia into the site, and that's enough for PowerPixel to find the timing of the peak for 2.
One enemy remaining.
Crossfire set up, looking decent as well here, as Wada will just break things down. That is just about as perfect as it gets. Paranoia keeps everyone focused. Easy double pinch on the back, and the pistol goes to Wada's defense.
Save the day. Easy.
Very nicely done there for Wada. Again, they want to start things off on the right foot with getting that pistol online, especially with losing out on such a close Haven matchup. Wada, I'm sure the response that they'd like is to be able to take this map pick of Corrode off of the side of Blue Water here as well. Overall, though, it is going to be interesting how the game plan changes here for Blue Water, right? Because swapping out the Tejo for an ISO is nowhere near a sort of like one-to-one swap. They did have those like very slow starts to those attacking rounds, but there's such a big difference with the amount of like area, the space that the Tejo can clear out instead of it being just firefights that you're going to expect to see, and just absolutely mowed down over an elbow. A flawless round for Wada to clean up that anti-eco and carry all of their weapons into the bonus.
Yeah, full bonus, of course. A decent idea for Blue Water. Just put up the shield, hope that you can get all 5 pistols to exchange something outright, but nothing there. So good spray, good control. Wadded up. Not actually going to elect to boost their bonus to anything more, which is maybe a little surprising considering PowerPixel still just has the pistol, but see how they decide to set them up behind this. You've got, again, heavy set up over towards B, so it does allow you to stack. Early flash plus push up towards A main here has Bunny B and the rest of Wada looking for an early first blood, but Blue Otter, aware of that, will be very responsible in making sure they can keep this a 5v5.
And it's really good that they actually pulled that saturate out early as well from the side of Blue Otter. Being able to force that utility out of Badison definitely changes how these executes can go, because that waylay, at times, it can be so dependent on being able to get that dash in, throw the saturate down, ensure that they either get the kill or someone on the team can follow up. So it swaps things up a lot when it comes down to that tempo. That's why you see Blue Water, they're trying to see if anybody on Wada will bite. No control of any space though, and this lean back over to B is deadly. You've got that chamber trip, watching the trademark, and then on top of that, layering these deadlock sensors as well. It's going to be so hard to find some sort of burst with 30 seconds left on the clock.
30 seconds
especially with the outlaw in play behind all of this, it can be really hard to get into sight. But Starbomb misses the first couple of shots. The right click eventually does land. Australis in the corner. Oh, maybe overcorrected a little bit there. So only 2 fall. Blue Otter able to get their post plant set up on their terms. And you're fighting up against a Spectre, a Bulldog, and a Classic the rest of the way. And May will use the overheal for a moment. Prowler will sidestep. A little awkwardness initially for May to hop back up onto the railing, but is able to find all 4 and turn that into a pretty significant Blue Otter win. Shuts down the bonus, and now we go into full purchase.
Yeah, not the exact sort of delay I think that they were hoping on the Wada side, but at the same time, granted, these corrode rotations through spawn take forever, especially if you're playing over towards like a elbow side and whatnot, and not going for that cut through into mid. Overall, you see a couple of pings going through here. Might be poised with a Paranoia ready here for Juna off the information that Ron's able to find both the deep smoke over the stairs. Won't be anything.
Whoa! PowerPixel holds down the trigger long enough for Oasis to slide over and actually take down the pick through smoke. Bunny B responds with some A main pressure. But Blue Otter will have the middle of the map pretty much to their name here. Australis just kind of shouldering the cross.
Look at
But
Oasis.
Oasis have gotten through. That's exactly right. Prowler to clear out a link, and this is going to be an AF finish here without question.
But I like the adjustment from Wada. This call to push forward in a main. They know it's that push into a link. This timing, not going to find anything either. No opportunity for Oasis to catch anybody off guard. Wada, they just get to fully group over towards this A-link side. Late wrap from Juna.
In on the corner. Just gets caught walking a little bit too much. So now you have to hold this post-plant 3v4. May does have the ability to come back to life, though. Could be pivotal in the post-plant hold if they do drop early. Flash on the corner. Ooh. Nice little dance back, but Bunnybee takes a ton of damage, down to 1 HP initially. Able to recover a lot of that, obviously. Oasis. No, nothing there on that crossing corner, so now it's just out of what exactly Blue Otter can do from this position. Avery slipping over to the other side of the dark cover. Able to expand angle down. That's enough for May to follow up, and there's the Nightfall to follow. Nice hold for Blue Otter. Pending, of course, they could deal with Starbound, and the clock may do it for them. Doesn't make a difference. The shorty finishes the final punch, and that'll be a 2-2 count. Blue Otter cook it.
Really nicely done. Both of those teams being able to reposition appropriately due to the information that they were able to find over in CT for the side of Blue Otter, and understanding that that was an aggressive push coming in through a link there as well. And Wada, I like the idea, you know, grouping over towards mid, trying to take that A main control on that retake, really not knowing if anybody was deeper spawn. But the utility from Blue Otter definitely rained out super in that round. Wada. Two Marshals on board. We got Starbound trying to pressure over in mid here as well. Nobody on Blue Water willing to bite. I think right now he's trying to deal with a bit of that deadlock utility that Australis is throwing up over the main, denying that wall from providing that kind of passive ult there. But they just want to regroup. Nobody wants to risk giving one of these rifles away for free.
Yeah, no way. And, you know, for Blue Otter, you're also draining a lot of early utility out of Wada. It's a Grav Net, the Barrier Orb, and a Smoke that's already off the table. So you're planning on not doing much in this first 45 and then taking the fight on your own terms with your own executable utility. And that seems to be looking towards B. Quick rotation for Power Pixel. Once again, hits the choke point with the Prowler. But not going to dissuade Blue Otter much longer. Taunt is out. Wow, the dash in for Batson. He thought was going to be good, but Australis has a good response. Trade eventually comes through. Power Pixel try to get it done with the Marshall. Starbound there with the Headhunter. They're going to combine for one. But will they be able to stop the spike?
30 seconds
Hard
left.
to say because the spike's not being committed for a plant yet. And honestly, this pitch trying to go towards B could work out, but May stepping forward knows that there are two players that are weak. Now the focus back towards main could be riddled with all these rifles, and that is absolutely picture perfect from Blue Otter. Tight moment, wanted to give themselves a look, but Blue Otter survived through what was largely a thrifty.
Yeah, really nicely done. Not looking to force that plant and having the understanding that there was the timing for that flank to be coming through and continuing to pressure into those mid players. Now, weapons will be back online here on the side of Wada. Full loadout to come in. Actually didn't take a quick peek at that economy, and Starbound, instead, it'll actually be that tool of false that they're going to look to pop into this round, holding over towards that elbow side. Blue Water, they have the read. Again, they called it out Chip, in the previous round. Blue Water are always going to want to try and deal with this deadlock utility.
Well, this is interesting. Hard commit for Blue Water. The kill contract does not land onto anything, so you've got all 5 members still up and active for Wada, and they've got Power Pixel, a delayed peek back into the site for 3. Avery eventually to shut it down and find a second, and if May can get a little bit of damage done, maybe a chance to still stay a part of the play, but enough space gained to give Avery a chance to try to re-clear out the flank. May will not be brought back, though, so it's now just down to the 1v3 from here for Avery.
Yeah, and they're fully boxed in. Starbound's on this flank with the tool of false. Knife out, not going to have anything to meet him. And there they go. A solid round there from Wada. I saw the idea from Blue Water, but again, that stall ability with the deadlock utility, sure, you're able to take down the first sensor and the wall early on, but it's just so hard to find a comfortable burst onto site, even when you're trying to scale with that ISO wall. And heroics from Power were absolutely insane over towards that backside. No one was really paying attention to that angle. Everyone very focused on where Australis was.
I think that's just because Oasis used the kill contract off of the get-go to clear that angle. But Power Pixel was so much deeper into B-Link that they stay away from it and then just sprint back into the same angle. So, good awareness from Power Pixel there. An unfortunate kill contract miss leads to a 3-3 game. First blood already tallied as Baddison has had a really tough time getting things going here on the Waylay. Awkward moment here at A main as Sin initially had the scope angle up. Bunny B trying to challenge. And it looks like both players will respect one another while the feel out over towards B is on the way. Oasis is, or maybe that's May now trying to work their way in on a rogue mission to B, gets caught off map and or off screen rather, I should say, and that leads to a pretty desperate situation for Blue Otter to try to navigate this 3v5.
This is the second time we've seen Oasis in their spawn, by the way. Like, just walking up into mid and pushing that mid window. You see the pings coming out here as well. Oasis signaling that someone could be underneath window playing hell. Very heads up move from Wada to be maintaining control of this B-Link, understanding that there is this hole in where they've been playing, but this position from Sin can be massive. Punished by Bunny B. That's a tough loss.
Just never pulled the trigger. Spike will still be planted though. Dimensional drift just to ensure that this round gets over the finish line here for Wada. Avery stuck just on top of the site, but Oasis up top creates two. That creates an opportunity as Oasis gets a third. Low health pull for Power Pixel. Starbound though watching the corner, never allows Avery to get back into the play, and Wada will take the edge.
Yeah, heroics from Oasis, just not enough to take it over the line there. But getting off way more than she should have, if we're going to be completely honest when you're considering that
Correct.
HP. But I think kind of similar to what we saw on Haven, like the desk was talking about, the fact that we're seeing, like, there are a lot of good macro ideas that are coming into play, but at the same time, a lot of mistakes as well. You know, seeing those holes, I think that Wada definitely had an understanding in that retake. Blue Otter as well, just not really having the timing on some of those lurks, or just the heads-up awareness of Wada looking to punish some of those solo angles. It's the reactivity that's really been such a boon for both of these teams, and I think that's why it's made this series so streaky so far.
Now the paths will be set out by Baddison. No one's home though at A, so no effect there, although Blue Otter will of course get the site relatively quickly. But Nightfall, Annihilation, both huge tools for Wada attempting the retake. Starbound looking for the long angle initially. No one is playing the back of the A site, though. Everything is playing at elbow or on the site itself. Nightfall cuts across, connects to at least two. One of them, though, is not Oasis, who had an angle, had an opportunity, but cannot convert. Baddison follows, though. Avery able to connect, and now it's a Nightfall of their own. Hold on a second. This could get really interesting for the front side of the site, but now you got to keep your head in a swivel. Starbound able to lock down to one. Headhunter for the other, and it's going to be a 1v2 Red Bull clutch for Starbound in the midst of a very tight battle on the A site.
And Starbound is that player that you can always rely on the side of Wada in those moments when it comes down right to the wire. Their mechanics and ability to micro in those situations is why you see this chamber composition for Wada, like on every single map, something that was their signature in 2025, carrying that over into the 2026 meta here as well. This Wada squad has always marched to the beat of their own drum, and Starbound is such a big part of that.
What a display. Wada now have the edge, 5-3 up. Purchase not great here for Blue Otter in the next round, but still have enough to fight and potentially give themselves a lifeline. The big issue, though, is just behind all of this utility, Starbound is going to be able to hold these angles over and over again. Sin has the tour de force. And yeah, that's what I was about to say. Bunny Bee's going to get a little bit of help here to stay a little bit longer at mid. Wall comes through. Bunny Bee just takes it to the chest. 1-1 will be the exchange for before.
Really nice utility to delay this push over in mid, though. Juna punishing off the back of the Prowler in the C's. That grab net also just making it impossible for the swing to come through for the refrag there for Blue Otter. But again, it's come down to a lot of these timings here for Blue Otter on the attacking side, whether it's been May, whether it's been Oasis, these opportunities to thread the needle where Wada are leaving these holes. And they are aware of the space that they're giving up.
That is the big key. Juna stuck in a corner, eh? Good, that's clean. Gives you a 3v3 situation. No post plant set up yet, and Wada once more will take the early and quick timing to play behind through A main. Would May expect this? Can Avery check it? The answer is no on to both for now, but of course the awareness is there. Starbound taking their time, clearing things out. Australis able to find Sin for 3. May able to follow for 1. Caught with utility out. Is there a trade at a power pixel? No, because Avery has to watch 2 things at once. Timing everything here, but is able to catch Starbound before they can really lock in the aim. Haunt is up. Enough information to convert onto Power Pixel, and another 1v2. Red Bull clutch comes through this time for Blue Otter and Avery.
Really nicely done there by Avery. I think the positioning for May was so important over in A link at the very least. Able to get the one needed, right? But again, I feel like in this matchup so far, there are just so many of those like heroic rounds that are necessary for either of these teams. Like, I've lost count, genuinely, Ship, of how many Red Bull clutches we've seen in the last map alone, and already only heading into this first half.
Agreed. Very much so agreed. Wow. This has been a treat so far, friends. Both maps, very tight, very back and forth. Wada back on towards Pistols and an Eco. Nice awareness there as Madison's able to find Juna just barely through the box. And with the superiority of numbers and weaponry, you figure Blue Otter should be able to clear their post plant at least on their terms, and they even catch one more over towards mid link. So, good opportunity here for Blue to set up their economy, both in their financial concerns as well as in the ultimate economy, depending they can find these eliminations. But Bunny Bee just kind of slips underneath Madison's aim. That may be an opportunity to grab a weapon. Yeah, to teleport over to it. Australis hits another one from the backside. What is happening? What is happening? This is not how you would draw this up. Avery, from the 1v2 now to a 1v3. Making this down to the straight 1v1 with Australis, and Avery's good for 2 Red Bull clutches in a row.
Back to back there for Avery to tie things up 5-5 here for Blue Otter. Just absolute insane stuff. I think gotta give a lot of respect though. Wada, they did a great job of playing that distraction tactic. Like Bunny Bee opening up that retake here for this team. That pick on Madison was so important, especially when it came down to being that distraction there, pulling Sins, just focus away from that A-link push that was coming through. Well, just so nicely done. Again, Avery being able to close that one out. Now we see a bit of a shift in how the setup looks. Kill contract's not going to find anything B main. They were looking to see if maybe you had Starbound posted up on a bit more of an aggressive angle. It was not going to be the case. Now back to the drawing board. Over in mid here for Blue Otter. A contact play into A-Link, with the shift here for the Sentinels to be over on this A site for one of the first times that we've seen. And the walk up in B makes this read really comfortable for Wada.
Yeah, sure does. Well, this timing is going to be really interesting behind the barrier. Australis had the grab net perfectly placed. And the flank is currently underway. Australis still caught. Tagged through the wall. Forced to hit the engagement. That's first blood plus a second from Avery. But Starbound inside the site. Watching everything at once. Finds 2, then slips away. Make it 3. Starbound with the slow field all over the site. Now has Power Pixel set up from the pinch. And it's on to Oasis. And all of the utility from the fade has Oasis revealed, stuck, and desperate for some sort of a lifeline. Some space to breathe here. Oasis trying to isolate, but it's Starbound for 4. And Wada take the edge, 6-5. Last round of the half upcoming.
Absolutely incredibly played there by Starbound. That was just insane on the A site. And you saw Sin was ready to try and re-clear where she was expecting Starbound to be. Except when you see the TP being called there by Starbound, there is no way you're really expecting it to be over in front sight there, right in front of your eyes. Like, it is such a ballsy play to be making. Just actually genuinely insane stuff. Now in the last round of this first half, setup changes here once again. Got that trip from Starbound over on this B side. An early wall from Australis outside of A main. Nobody's gonna look to break it though. Sin just waiting, seeing what she's gonna be able to hear and relay to the team. And this is a tough last round of the first half here too, Shift, when you take into consideration the economics on the side of Blue Otter right now. They do not have much to work with.
No, they do not. And Bunny B is chasing down one, sees more. They decide to try to force this 1v1. No, instead it's just a decoy out and some separation gain to make sure no one's at the front doors of B. And we'll reset.
Got some deep trips here towards that A site for Australis to be able to play off road. Paranoia to delay this push and buy time for the rotation from the B players.
Well, here comes the action. Annihilation will be coming through. Baddest able to find one with a shotgun. Australis head on a swivel. Pixel right there with them. And there will be an opportunity for Blue Otter to out-trade this. And they even find Starbound a little bit deeper. That's a huge pick. Now it's just down to Bunny. Rifles have been collected. First action is good. The second one was close, but May quick enough on the angle to finish us with a 6-6 half.
Switching sides.
And goodness, yeah, you're going to see it. Just another affair of back and forth, streaks in a row. Swap the sides, we'll go again.
Now, what a way to steal that last round away there for Blue Otter as well. We talked about how that buy was going to come into play for that team and how awkward it was going to make it. Australis on an island on that A site, just not able to do much more than she already did. Now, heading on to defense here, it's such a close map already, and we haven't even seen like half of the players in this server really coming alive. And I think that there is a little bit more pressure now for Sin on that chamber here defensively to be able to hold her own over at B.
Agreed with that. Absolutely agreed with that. But this has been really, really good Valorant at this point. First blood for Sin going to come through onto Bunny. It's an important 1v1 there. Oasis will make it a little bit better. The extension of the double tap makes this ISO so hard to get rid of. And Starbound will obviously be ran down here. First shot good. Second one just a little bit wide. And May will finish things off. Not quite a flawless, but pretty much is. Blue Otter take the opening pistol in the second half.
Doesn't have as many day-to-day benefits as you think.
Pretty sure on Haven too, it was what, pistol for the most part between these two teams, like each team being able to get one of their own regardless of the half. But now overall, I think Blue Otter, you've got two outlaws in hand that you get to work with here. Bucky for Oasis. Okay, I was gonna say Bucky is a little bit untraditional for an ISO player. Overall, we'll swap over to that Stinger, but right now for Wada, looking to group up over in mid, trying to go for some wall bangs here from May. Not really going to connect with much other than a bit of damage over on Starbound. Bunny B is already immediately coming.
Follow up. Power Pixel and Oasis involved in the trades, but Blue Otter will have the numbers, and of course Power Pixel down to 3 HP is in some desperate trouble. Starbound able to connect for a little bit of damage, then falling away. Madison, yep, that'll work. Up close and personal, not as much, but still good damage onto Juna. But the Outlaw has been collected, and we know that that could potentially be round changing. The problem is, it's still a 2v3, you still have no spike.
Yeah, it gets a little bit funky now. But for the side of Wada, they'll also be happy with, doing as much damage as they could. Sure, getting the round wind would be great, but when you've got Juna so low, tempering expectations a little bit here. I like how passively Blue Otter are playing, though, knowing that it's going to buy them that much extra time, forcing Wada to clear out so
30
many more.
seconds left. Spike planted.
Well, the numbers are starting to flood. No reason not to wait for Sid here. Smoke is out. Juna just trying to hold the corner initially. Spam not quite where it needs to be. And Avery will step out to catch one. Starbound now resorting to the headhunter. And, well, the problem is, Spike was being held the whole time. Plus, the final elimination comes through. Blue Otter, 8-6 up. And now we navigate through what will be an interesting bonus round, considering the circumstances of how many eliminations have come through in favor of Wada in the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, they've definitely got to be happy with some of that damage that they did, making this bonus just a bit weaker here. And Wada, again, they played it safe, right? So they're not going to be on any of those half shields. The Outlaws aren't going to be as potent as you would want to see in the Blue Otter camp. Now, an early take here for Madison, not going to find anything. Forcing a bit more of that utility out. Even an early paranoia there from Juna to clear out the close angle.
Well, battle at mid could determine what happens here in this next contact. Do you expect this much of a walk-up? Or the problem? You may not expect May to be in the corner, but Avery kind of gives up the opportunity for the crossfire setup, especially with Madison assisting at long range with a classic elimination. 4v3 Oasis. Tough battle at that range with Juna, but wants to force it. Double tap is up, and the window on that fight will close.
Yeah, Oasis trying to go for a walk up. Made it out by that clone there as well. Really nicely timed there. Blue site not quite open though, with the fact that Madison's still able to punish the bunny bee on that. It's going to be hard for her to find more.
Last player standing.
Oh, okay. A little spam from Juna will pretty much put the round out of question. Unless...
Spike planted.
Nope, not this time. Clean follow-up there against the bonus for Wada. Only dropping 2, plus getting the plant. They'll be right back into purchase territory at full buy. And now we're going to get our first full gun round here for the defensive Blue Otter. Do you have any worries about this composition defensively as we kind of go through this half, knowing kind of that Madison is obviously looking to try to play aggressive with the waylay?
I think that it's on Wada to have the understanding of how they're looking to punish the aggression from Blue Otter, right? And I think that's why you see a lot of that utility being expended in the early round, just to deny a lot of those early angles there. And the thing is, for Blue Otter, sure, you see that first fight, Madison's able to get that refract out at the very least. But now, it's a little bit more uncomfortable for some of these rotations to come in. You've had constant mid presence from Wada, looking to punish those walk-ups like we saw in the previous round here as well. And for Blue Otter, if they're not getting those opening engagements, they're not getting those first bloods, it's about having that understanding of, okay, maybe we pivot our game plan to playing a little bit more for those fast flood retakes.
Well, here comes the run down mid. Avery not going to be baited by the decoy. Nightfall's going to come through. Avery's in trouble, but stays away from the Prowler and holds down the trigger for 2. An important double there. Now Sin, next one up. Just can't quite lock down the headshot onto Juna. Damage was tallied, but not enough to get the even. Problem is the spike was, well, down for a moment. From the shadows will recollect it. Starbound now has to watch the Blue Otter cross. Oh, wow, what a prediction from Starbound! Oh my goodness, Madison trying to get up close and personal. Starbound was not fooled. Snaps over for a second and finishes the third.
Again, the sheer mechanics that Starbound is able to pull off in these rounds are at times miracles for this team, right? Like, it's such a fast flood there for Blue Otter to be taking that retake. You have a one player trying to get that plant. Juna not really in a position to be able to get a comfortable trade there for Starbound, and they don't need it. They're just able to do it all on their own. A very punishing round loss there for Blue Otter as well. Going back into another kind of half eco situation. You've got Starbound trying to get the peek over the smoke here in mid, not able to spot anything out. Blue Otter not looking to push the issue too much, especially with this weapons disadvantage. Playing a lot more turtled onto these sites, aside from that peak over in B main.
Trap destroyed.
Well, again, patient approach here for Wada. Not wanting to give away anything on the openers, and a tight moment there as Oasis peaks and forces Starbound to retreat back. Sid, next one up, not able to connect. Nightfall will pause the approach, especially with that barrier or blocking the connection to B. But Badison, how much of this are you able to hear?
He hears all of it.
30 seconds left.
All of it. So now you've got Oasis, or pardon me, May, head up. Long range shots for Badison onto Juna are going to work out. Oasis inside the kill contract. Tough battle at that range, but the Stinger and Buddy B will take it, if only just barely. But back to the mix, and as Power Pixel will plant, advantage will go back to Wada.
Oh, and this rotation from Badison. Just taking so long, walking over to build a regroup with the team.
Big battle here, and Australis will get the better of Sid. No worries on the follow-up. Only one will drop thanks to the classic through middle onto Juna, but Wada are really starting to establish some deep pockets now. 3 rounds in a row, a handful of plants behind all of that. And you've also got a couple of key ultimates starting to be charged up that will beat the timing of the resets for Blue Otter.
Yeah, I think Wada have a very solid understanding of the win conditions in a lot of these rounds here for Blue Otter. Again, being able to punish some of that early aggression, denying some of those deeper lines. A lot of these
You want to play?
like
Let's
pump fake
play.
situations as well, where they're trying to draw out some of that utility. But now, Dimensional Drift looking for the information. Sin will be spotted out with the off.
Not there.
The action coming quickly on the site, but to be able to find the high angle onto Sin. That's your first defender out of the picture. Who, of course, not going to be a part of anything anymore for the defenders. Shots down low from Blue Otter actually do connect up here towards Power. Oasis would need to clear, but not able to with the double tap shield. Avery going to try to follow up. You just have to win this position back, and it's just easier said than done. Wada up to double digits, and the economy continues to not really be battered nor bruised whatsoever. Where on the opposite side, Blue Otter are back into another save.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful execution that we saw from Wada. Timeout to be called now on the side of Blue Otter after losing 4 rounds in a row. Convergent Paths were online in the last round. Did not see that be used. You do have Tour de Force here for Sin, but she has been struggling to connect her shots a bit in this map, which is definitely difficult as a chamber player, right? Like, your whole kit is around being able to take that space, being able to pressure the other team, especially with your picks that you're getting. And if they're not coming into your crosshair, at least being able to hold on to those deeper lines. And I think Wada have been doing a really good job of clearing her out, making it really difficult for Sin to get comfortable in a lot of those positions. But Blue Otter, I think now, we've seen the adaptations a bit with their game plan shift. Like, they were going for some of that aggression, then they were playing a little bit further back, trying to play some of those crossfires, opting for some of those retakes, the rotations. But Wada have been pretty good about, you know, the bursty executions after drawing out a lot of that earlier utility and being able to isolate the players on site.
Yeah. Very true, very true. Smoke getting ready to be placed as soon as the barriers drop. And, I mean, Blue Otter, again, reflecting on last night's match, had a handful of thrifty rounds get through that really allowed them to find that narrow edge to take down 100 Thieves. But so far today, it's been mostly just Red Bull clutches that have given us the drama outside of this good Valorant overall being played. Wada, with Juna finding the opening set of kills, will have the significant advantage here against what is now largely just a classic of the two sheriffs. Maybe if weapons can get collected, we can look at something different with this tour de force, but you have to figure that Wada will be aware of that. Cross their T's, dot their I's, and try to get to 11 quickly.
Slow contact play up towards mid. Avery's trying to set up with some sort of cross. The Prowler does go out for the information, but full flash there for Madison. Not going to be able to swing off of it. The punish to be coming in there. Again, though, this is, you know, what we kind of expect into this round, right? The eco there for Blue Water. Not having the weaponry to really contest. The second that Wada caught a whiff of where Sin's tool de false was posted up, it was immediate respect. A full pivot over towards that B site, knowing that the rest of the team didn't really have as much to contest with.
Yeah, and that's just easy Valorant at that point for that. I mean, you know what's in front of you. Take your advantage, take your extra weapons, and move into a 3-round edge. So, looks like that should be the case. See if Sin can try to maybe do a little bit of damage as soon as the smoke fades. But, again, it's just, even eliminations at this point just does not really feel like it matters. Just due to the simple nature of the economy that's already been established for Wada. Sin will take down 2. Maybe an opportunity for more. Shoulders tempting. And Sin will get the better of Bunny Bee as well. So a little bit of extra punish there. Not the worst news. I think in particular the ability to just kind of keep yourself stabilized financially if you're Sin. But must-win round now coming through for Blue Otter on their map pick. Otherwise, they will be back into dire straits and looking at what has to be force buys the rest of the way.
Yeah, and Madison hasn't had an opportunity to really use the conversion paths yet either. We've been holding on to that for the past couple of rounds. I think could definitely be a big boon for either a hard stop on a Wada execution or huge into one of those retake rounds here for Blue Water. We'll see which direction they end up taking it in. On the other side, though, Astralis does have that deadlock ult, the annihilation available. She's always pretty good about ensuring that she gets her one with it, taking somebody out of the equation. Again, look at the way that they pause for Wada. They're always expecting someone on Blue Water to look to walk up with this double duelist composition.
Yeah. Grab net, not going to really hit. Focus moving over to B with a minute on the clock. Sin holding, but only with a Phantom. Does have the ability to teleport deep and safe over towards tower side. And that will come through. Nightfall will not reach all the way. Sin will stay away from it. Sight take is on the way. Barrier or blocking, but Sin, wow, actually catches Juno off the teleport. And that now has Wada looking to try to force and isolate. Deep scale coming through. Annihilation comes out, but Sin has done very well here for Blue Otter.
Yeah, not having any smokes on this B site makes it so awkward to try to get this plant down. Having control really important here.
Oh, but Power Pixel has just once again reduced the presence of the Waylay. Avery May finding a couple of Power Pixel off the reset. Gets more. How about more behind that? No, not quite. Starbound. 1v3 technically. Has 2 more to try to grab. A little bit of an angle! What a transfer into the smoke! Oh, May! Beats Starbound there with the classic. You saw the idea. Starbound thought the same thing. Couldn't quite get to the headhunter in time. And Blue Otter take the must-win round to keep their hopes alive.
You talked about how important this round win was for Blue Otter. But we also wanted it to be a bit more convincing because despite the round win, they're still not going to have as comfortable of a buy as they would have wanted. I think Sin being able to dodge that Nightfall was so important to be able to know that Juna was sticking that Omen ultimate right behind her. Being able to get that pick on Juna completely shifted that round there for Wada, not having, you know, cover necessary in that round now. going to be denied the forward angle right off the gate by the Prowler.
Well, a little vying for positioning happening over towards B main, but not much gained, not much lost, all things told. Sin still going to hold with the op. And this little peek up towards top mid could be everything. Starbound is aggressively clearing the corner. Prowler is out. May aware that there should be some action. And Blue Otter step up and deal with it nicely. Follow from Power Pixel. It just always feels like Power Pixel is in a position to reduce the numbers to more manageable terms after a bad fight. Once more that comes true, and we'll go to a 2v3.
Yeah, they've been incredibly impactful and reliable on this map of Corrode. Grouping up now with Juna, you still have a 1 haunt available and the C's.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, and the
30
contact
seconds
here.
left.
Oh, goodness. Avery almost just wins the round outright. Power Pixel for what would be a 1v3. Making a decision with 17 seconds on the clock. Economy is still fine for the most part. Sin will stop the cross, and we're back to within 1. We told you this might be a long night of Valorant, and we're threatening extras possibly again.
Yeah, it's been adjustments for both these teams, mistakes made on both sides here as well, but overall, again, good understandings, I think, of each other's win conditions in some of these rounds, on top of heroics constantly being pulled out from either side. Timeout to be called now in the 22nd round by Wada. They had a streak of what, I think it was like 4 rounds in a row, 4, maybe 5. Yeah, before Blue Otter was able to put a stop to that momentum. Now, they don't want to let them get away with anything more. Trying to cut that down before it gets like out of hand with how close it's become now. I think, especially considering the money situation on both teams, relatively even in the sense that this next round could make or break either of them.
Yeah, it really, really could. The importance of this one, just about as high as anything we've seen. Also got to keep in mind that Wada could also determine what they want to do in terms of orb collection. Do you prefer the Nightfall, or do you prefer the Dimensional Drift early? Nightfall to follow potentially for Avery on the other side. No kill contract yet for Oasis. And Starbound's going Glass Cannon, which is a little surprising, I think, considering the fact that the Dimensional Drift could be a play here. But yeah, it looks like with that judge, we're probably getting the Dimensional Drift.
Yeah.
That's not ready.
You love some good old Yoru gameplay, that's for sure. I think this mid-presence here for Starbound has been really important for some of these pivots on the side of Wada, as well as being able to catch off these mid-rotations, considering the mid-aggression that we've seen the past couple of rounds from Blue.
I have them.
Well, the setup is ready to go. Well, maybe not. Thinking about feeling things out at mid. Starbound sees the Prowler and puts the scope down at the worst possible time. So Blue Otter will not just find one, they also catch Bunny Bee. Oh, that's huge. The whole setup was supposed to be a Dimensional Drift over to B. And now the round is just over.
I think there was maybe a call to try and fake it over towards that A side. The presence that Australis was showing, and then use the Dimensional Drift, but Sin's not going to move from that angle with the op,
30
right? Like,
seconds
leaving your
left.
spike alone. Tough look to do. Now, 25 seconds on the clock. Sure, Juno's going to try and run over, but May's going to try and cut off this rotation. A teleport does come in, but the fight's not going to go in Juno's
Spike down
favor.
mid.
Now, Australis can't do anything in this round.
10 seconds
It's
left.
just completely fallen apart. The idea was there at the beginning, but the mid-round call, I just don't think it is enough to try and deal with that trademark early with the clone. Yeah, sure, you take it down, but if you're taking the trademark down, that also means that Blue Otter are going to dedicate someone on that B site to hold the line.
Yeah, that's just a really, really terrible situation for Wada, because now you're trying to essentially pull the same executes, maybe not fully, because like you said, like maybe you're trying to set up some sort of a fake to get the crossing angle for Starbound, but now you're dealing with a weakened economy for the first time really this half, and it comes at the worst possible moment. Spam down mid. No one really hit by this, but Blue Otter are feeling frisky. They may come over the top here. That is really good information. How do you want to set that up? How about some wall banks for me? Oh my goodness. Right as soon as the dimensional drift is hit, you deal with the play before it even starts. Bunny B and Australis trying to get it done on their own. Australis will drop. Bunny B, last one standing. And the economy is going to be broken behind this. Blue Otter take a late surge. We're at 12-11, but don't blink yet.
This underdog roster heading up against a Wada that has been so consistently in the top 3 of game changers over the past year in 2025. The team that came second at America's LCQ, and Blue Otter have been pushing them the distance, capitalizing on mistakes being made by Wada. A lot of solo fights that are being taken and punished earlier into the round there by the attackers of this half.
Oh, this contact feels so dicey. Starbound is going to get the tour de force though. Our Pixel still has the Nightfall from the previous round. Kill contract is ready for Oasis, and they are set up at B-Link. Can Starbound get that mid-cross that they wanted from a couple of rounds ago? That may be a huge determining factor, but Avery catches Bunny B again before the play could even start. Good shield from Oasis. May just going to get to work spamming down the choke point. Follow-up utility behind that. Madison stops the haunt, and Wada will lose Starbound at mid. Blue Otter looking good for a 2-0 end to this best of 5. Madison out and out of the smoke, and Blue Otter will not need to see extra innings this time. 2-0 up. Oh my goodness, it's currently happening. This Blue Otter team doesn't know how to die.